Hey, what's up YouTube, Skybadger here, and I'm back with another tips and tricks video in Call of War 1942. This time, I'll be focusing on the Economic Saboteur. So, here's some of the basics about the Economic Saboteur. The Economic Saboteur can be used to pull off some interesting tactics by destroying the enemy's morale and production, but these sort of tactics require a lot of money and a lot of time to pull off. Before I go into detail, let's start with how to hire an Economic Saboteur. To get an Economic Saboteur, you must first pay $15,000 to recruit an idle spy. Then, you can put that spy to work as an Economic Saboteur for a further $4,000 a day. To hire an Economic Saboteur, click the Espionage tab. Then, click on the province you want to use it in. These have to be enemy provinces. Now, recruit a spy. Once you have done that, the number of idle spies you have will change to 1. To use the spy, just click the plus near the Economic Saboteur icon. Now, if you exit this menu, you'll see the Economic Saboteur icon will be above the province it has been used in. If you want to move it, idle it, or dismiss the spy completely, just click the Economic Saboteur icon or the province it has been used in, and then click the minus button. This will idle it. From here, you can dismiss it completely, or move it by clicking on another province. While spies are idle, they still cost $500 a day, but they do nothing. Right, now we're on to the good part. So when and how should you use them? The Economic Saboteur should only be used on players you are at war with, and if you have a lot of money. To effectively use Economic Saboteurs, you must use them in large numbers and concentrate them on a small number of provinces. You will generally see these spies used late game by larger nations. I do not suggest using them early game at all, they're too expensive. There are a few ways to use Economic Saboteurs. The first is destroying morale. Economic Saboteurs have the ability to lower the morale of enemy provinces. This can have huge effects on larger nations. Many people do not know the effect the morale has on production. So if you can afford to use a large number of Economic Saboteurs and every day move them to a new province, slowly, this will start to have a huge effect on their production, and if the morale gets low enough, it will start to spread to neighbouring provinces, only making things worse. Another interesting way I have seen people use Economic Saboteurs is to tear apart allies. This is simple, but it's very expensive again, and takes even longer than the last. But it does require your enemy to have land borders. So what you have to do is place your Economic Saboteurs on one side of the border. Day after day, and after enough time, your enemy's land will start to rebel to his ally. Now, depending on the strength of the alliance, they'll just work with it, and both work to stop you. But in most cases like I've seen, the person getting the land will not want to give it back. And the person losing it will become weaker and weaker, and become more desperate for the land. This normally works best when there is a body of water between you and the enemies, makes it easier to defend yourself. Also, if you can get this to work with their core provinces, it has an even bigger effect. And another way is, if your enemy is building, well, anything that you don't want them to have, using Economic Saboteurs to damage and stall the production and the building process can be a great way to buy yourself time. Also, using Economic Saboteurs to damage buildings and production provinces will quickly take its toll on the enemy, and soon they won't be able to keep up with repairs and waste needed resources on repairing buildings. The last way to use them is to steal and destroy resources. This is a great way to tell a player you want war. Economic Saboteurs have the potential to destroy resources produced in a province or steal money from that province. A great way to use this is if you know your enemy lacks a certain resource, then target one of the provinces that produces it. If you're good enough, they'll resort to buying and wasting their money. And if you're lucky, you could get them to a point where they have no food or the resource you're targeting, and so little money that, they can't produce it, they can't buy it, and you'll start to damage their morale. At this point, things will only get worse for them. If they can't produce it, every single hour goes by, they start to lose more morale. It soon takes its toll. As normal, I'm going to finish off this video with some useful tips. Economic Saboteurs should be used in large groups to have the best effect and they should be concentrated on a single province. The damage done to buildings varies based on the number of spies used, but the max I've seen is 25 damage to buildings, and the best damage I've seen done to morale is 50. If you gain a province with one of your economic saboteurs in it from the enemy, the economic saboteur will become a counter-espionage spy. As normal, all results are given at day change, and if you don't have the money to pay the spy at day change, you will lose them. In my opinion, the economic saboteur is also the easiest spy to capture, so don't leave them in the same province too long. Keep moving them around. So that is my advice on how to use the economic saboteur in Call of War 1942. So if I missed something, got something wrong, tell me in the comments. I hope this series on spies was useful. If you have any suggestions on what aspect of Call of War I should focus on next, tell me in the comments. Any other ideas are also appreciated. So, if you want more, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.